Hello and welcome to the Serrano Show. We're the marriage CEOs, your relationship experts, and your amazing couple, Dr. Richard and Nephetina Serrano. My
Yes,
husband and
yes,
I
yes.
have helped thousands of couples on their journey to forever. Listen, guys, we are back in the station identification place here trying to do this thing one more time. It has been a while, I know, since you've actually seen us go live, but we thought, you know what? It was our original night. We had some difficulties with the computer, but all is good. We're not going to allow this night to be lost. We thought, there's some night owls like ourselves that
Mhm.
wouldn't mind being up. So we're here. We're here to come and talk to you tonight. And we have a really great topic that we thought was truly something that we talk about a lot, but we don't really talk about it. So tonight we're going to talk about honesty versus transparency.
That is true.
Hello, I'm Dr.
Hello,
Nephetina Serrano, and
everybody.
this is my co-host.
Yes, Dr. Richard Serrano. It's good to see everybody.
It is so wonderful to be back in this place.
Mhm.
It's been a while, guys.
Yeah.
So, Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New
I hope
Year.
your January started off right. And I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are healthy and full, and lights are on, and gas is paid, and bills are ceasing.
Mhm.
you know, all those good things. But
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
we're Doctors Richard and Nephetina Serrano, and listen, we are on a journey and a mission to helping 1 million couples
Mhm.
rise up from the devastation of divorce
Mhm.
and that being their only way out. So we want to just talk to you tonight about
Mhm.
transparency versus honesty.
Yeah, it's a really good topic. And, I thought about it several times, and we're going on 36 years, July
Wow.
1st.
Wow.
36 years married. Is that not awesome?
It is really awesome, and I realize and recognize that I wouldn't want to do this journey with anybody else.
Really? Oh,
Absolutely.
you are a pretty sweet lady.
I'm very
I appreciate
grateful to
that.
God giving me you
Mm.
and putting you in my life, truly and honest, because I
Honestly.
know that this journey would be so much harder without him. So I wonder if, if we
Mm.
ever, if some of you are taking the time in the moment to think about that,
Yeah.
your mate and the significance that they play, the role that they play in your life, and how important it is, and what it really means to you. Because I know I wouldn't want to do this journey without them.
Yeah.
So we're here tonight, got off to a little rocky start. We're definitely on a different time frame than what we usually
Mm.
are here
Mm.
speaking to you. But hopefully that means the kids are in bed and you can actually participate
Relax.
tonight. So you know what I say, get your pens and paper ready
Mm.
because we're about to talk about it. You might want to jot some things down.
Yes, yes. So, honesty versus transparency. What's the difference between the two? So, honesty, you ask the question and you get an answer.
Mm,
That's what honesty is, and that's a good thing, right? So we think it is because they're giving me an honest answer and they're being honest about it.
right.
It's whether or not we're asking the right questions to get the right answer that you want to really get. Transparency is an open book.
Mm,
It's just you're giving information, volunteering information without being questioned or asked, right? So I think I'm more transparent than I am honest, and it's both the same, right? Um, well, both the same, but yet different.
right.
So for me, transparency, I've learned to be more transparency because you do have to know who you're with and what they require, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's really important,
That's a
and you
good point.
probably should ask yourselves
Yeah.
now: am I transparent or am I honest?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ask your mate. Maybe are you transparent or are you? Well, you already know. I don't know how long you've been with your mate, but you know whether or not he's honest or transparent. But it's also good to him for them to answer the question.
Absolutely, because that really brings about a different level of
Yeah.
understanding. And so,
Hmm.
you know the word, and all by getting, get an
That's
understanding. And
right.
so, with that being said, you have to ask the right
Oh, buddy
questions,
boy.
because if you're not asking the right questions, you may, as Dr. Serrano said, not receive the answer that you're looking
Yeah.
for. And sometimes it may not be that answer that you're looking for, but it might be the right answer.
Hmm.
And so, it's a matter of whether or not you receive that answer
Yeah.
or you reject it, right? Or maybe it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And so maybe you have to ask more questions.
Hmm.
But ultimately, honesty, is the quality of being truthful.
Hmm.
You're simply being truthful
Yeah.
about the matter. But transparency
Yeah.
takes it a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
It's the quality of being open, but also accountable
Hmm.
to the discussion that you're having. So
Transparency.
transparency is going to bring that accountability. So I can say, how many, do you have any oranges? And he can say,
Yeah.
yes, I have oranges. But transparency says, I have 2 oranges left,
Yeah. Right.
right?
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
if I needed 5 oranges, I should have
Mhm.
said, do you have at
Yeah.
least 5 oranges?
Yeah.
And he would have said, no, I only have two.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think even when I'm young, in my younger days, and my mother used to say, "Where you going?" I said, "Outside."
That's true.
She would grab me by the head, and you're not going nowhere. I need
Yes.
to know where you're going, who you're gonna be with.
How long?
They was teaching us what transparency was when we were younger, living at home,
That's good.
because it was like, I'm going outside. Well, where you going? I'm going to, Third and York to play some basketball. Well, who are you going to be with? So
Yes.
she has to keep probing and keep going to
Until she
find
the
out
answer that
where
she's looking for.
exactly where I'm going,
Right.
who I was going to be with, what am
Wow.
I doing after I'm done, because I have dinner for you. It's a plan, right?
That's
Transparency
good.
to me is more like a kind of a plan out day, right? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'll be back around that. It's not really checking in. It's just really giving the information the person you with needs, so
Yeah.
they know what's happening and where you are. You know.
That's really good. So listen, guys, please remember to
Oh,
subscribe,
damn,
like, and
Angie
share
Love.
the channel. Hey, Angie Love, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're on
Yes,
an
yes.
unusual time, but guess what? Roll with us, because we think this is a very valuable topic to discuss. Honesty versus transparency. And so we're talking about it because, you know, a lot of times we want our mates to be transparent,
Mhm. But
but
can they handle it? Okay, go
absolutely. No,
ahead.
no, that's great. That's really good. Can you
Mm,
handle the transparency?
yeah,
Because sometimes I may say I want you to be transparent, but honestly, I'd be like,
too much
TMI,
information.
too much information.
This
TMI,
is
no, I
true,
didn't
right?
need all that. I just wanted to know.
Right.
But the question that you asked required the response that was given.
Right.
So
That's
we have to be careful.
right.
Are you really looking for that transparency?
Hmm.
Or do you really just want honesty?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For me, hey Angie, good to see you. Love, I love the name Love. I tell you. For me, I like transparency because um, I pretty much plan my day with a calendar, from making calls to going to appointments and things like that. So for me, giving account of where I'm going to be and what I'm doing and all helps me, because you don't have to call me later. Where you at? I mean, you still might do it because you might forget. But at least I put it out there to make
Yeah.
you feel comfortable to know where I'm going, what am I doing, and things like that. Uh, I wasn't always like that.
Mm.
It was a place where I had to go and do that, because when you are dating, you still like your freedom. You still like to do things. You still like to hang out with certain people. Um, and it's true, right? It really is true. So you're not going to be transparent off the back, not unless you just like that naturally,
Right.
in your nature,
Right.
just to be like that way.
That's
And
true.
and I'm not saying that nice people are transparent, because that's really not the case. Transparent and nice is two different things too. So,
So as we're talking about this, we're going to give you guys, some pointers, right? Because honesty involves telling the truth. So in honest, right? They say be honest in love, right? So if you're honest, you're going to tell the truth,
yes, that's right.
even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. right?
Mhm.
It helps others to understand your motives when you're honest.
Mhm.
Then they don't have to be guessing.
That's right. Yeah.
Stop
Mhm.
making your mate guess what you're thinking,
Mhm.
what you're feeling, what you
Yeah.
desire or what
Mhm.
you want. Be honest.
Mm.
And in that case, honestly, be transparent
That's right.
so that they can get a full um, overview
Yeah.
into what it is you're trying to portray
Mhm.
or tell them that you desire.
Right.
Sometimes we're not transparent enough,
Mhm. Yeah.
and we leave too much to be
Yeah.
thought about,
Yeah.
too much in between stuff.
Yeah.
And we
That
need to
can be.
not do that sometimes, right? Honesty requires vulnerability.
Yeah.
Being honest requires vulnerability,
Yeah.
and it can inspire trust.
Mhm.
Because if you're not honest with someone and you're always half telling the truth,
Right.
you're going to lose that trust factor somewhere.
Yeah.
That they're not going to really, they're like, yeah, you told me, but you never said this, that, and the
Mhm.
third,
Yeah.
right? So you want to make sure that you're being honest
Yeah.
and building that trust. Sometimes it requires that vulnerability. But remember, and being transparent, everybody's not ready for that. Everybody's not mature
Yeah.
to that point.
Not mature.
Everybody hasn't grown
So
to that
true.
place
Mhm.
where they're ready for full and total
Yeah.
transparency,
Yeah.
because transparency can be so important
Yeah.
in everything,
Mhm.
in organizations, in government. We
Yeah.
know what's happening in our
Mhm.
lives
Yeah.
today and in the world,
Mhm.
right? That transparency is where people are being called to the carpet,
Mhm.
because they may have said something, but they weren't fully disclosing
Mhm.
all of what they knew. They
Mhm.
may have been honest about what they said, but transparency will cause them to do a little bit more.
Yeah, that's so true. I like what Angie said here. She said, just be real and real with yourself and honest.
Yes.
And that's true. A lot of people have a problem being real with themselves. But it seems so
That is
simple
true. That
and
is so
so
true.
easy, right, Angie? I mean, it really does. But for some
We
people, it's hard.
It's very hard sometimes. I mean, I'm being, I'm
Yeah,
being honest. It is very hard sometimes because that
yeah,
that transparency can increase a different level of communication that
hmm,
everybody's not ready for.
yeah, yeah.
And in some ways, especially if you're still in the dating phase,
Hmm.
that transparency, when you're too transparent up front, it can cause a person to kind of
Back off.
back off.
That's true.
So you want to build it. Sometimes
Yeah,
build yourself up to that place. And
yeah.
again, just know who you're working with.
Hmm. Right.
Know the person.
Yeah,
Get to learn that person and
yeah,
understand what it is they're really looking for,
yeah,
what it is they're desiring. Do they want me to be honest,
yeah.
or do they want
Yeah.
transparency?
That's true because when I was dating and the girls I was dating was transparent, they want babies, they want this, and I'm like, oh, I would run off because those are the things I did not want back in the day. I played ball and I just thought about career and things like that. So when I used to hear those kind of things and marriage or long relationships and all of that, they were being transparent.
Yeah,
I didn't have to ask them,
they gave you their long-term goal.
right?
When you
So
were looking for the short fix, they went
yeah, yeah,
beyond the 2 and the
yeah,
5 year. They
yeah.
went all the way to the 10-year
Yeah,
plan.
so that is really true when you're dating. You do have to be careful because being transparent, you can really scare people off.
Yeah,
I do believe that in your marriage, transparency does take you a long way. I think people that are transparent do make it in their relationships or in their marriage, and I believe any relationship, because at some point you do have to be transparent about things that you're doing,
and that's true.
even certain goals. That's being transparent because some people don't even say things until you ask them.
Right? That is the truth. And so Emma Brandt says,
Huh?
"Hi, mamas. Thank you for joining us tonight. Just be real." I'm sorry. She says transparency is valuable and makes you valuable.
So true.
Very good point.
Hmm.
Very good point. You can
Yeah.
take that to the bank
Mm,
and cash in on it.
that's right. I think transparency also brings about a place of security.
Yeah.
and comfortableness and things like that, because you learn to trust when you have somebody who's transparent.
Yeah.
You know, you still have to worry about red flags and things like that. You still have to be careful, right, in your relationship. But transparency is the best way to go.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's really good, but we're having this conversation tonight. If you're just joining us, we're doctors Richard and Nephetina Serrano, the marriage CEOs, relationship experts, and we are here tonight on the Serrano Show. We are talking about honesty versus transparency. What are some of the differences? What are some of the likenesses? When you should be honest and when you should be transparent. And how do you derive and come to that place and understanding? And we're talking about how it really is, I think, in the ear of the beholder, because it's really about what you're perceiving and receiving and how you're desiring something. It's almost like when we talk about how the 5 love languages and how you desire to be loved versus giving someone love how you want it, you give it to them how they desire it. So, in honesty and transparency is kind of like the flip of that, right? Instead of just being blatantly transparent, you may need to be honest because that person may not be mature enough to receive that transparency. You have to know the person in whom you're dealing with. And I believe that goes across all relationships, work relationships, business relationships, mother, daughter, father, son. I believe that goes across relationships across the board. So honesty and transparency, even in leadership. Leaders who are honest and transparent admit their shortcomings and they embrace the feedback. That brings about a different level of intimacy within the person or people with whom you're confiding in. And so it does make a difference.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, would you do business with someone who was more transparent than honest? I would. I would do business with someone who's transparent because I feel like he's honest enough to tell me and give me information that I didn't ask for, which is really good, because you do have to make sure that you can trust some people with the
Yeah.
information that they do give you. Because guess what? The information they give you, you're putting in your database to make sure that it's true information. And as long as it's true information that they're giving you, then you continue to trust them. Because let's face it, being transparent makes you vulnerable and it opens you up. So it's a scary place to be
It
for
is.
a lot of
It
people.
is. No, I mean, I'm just agreeing with you because we have to understand that we're in the give and receive, right? In that place, in that aspect. And so when you are working toward building trust, because it's not really trying, you're either doing it or you're not. If you're working toward building trust, then you will find out, and by having conversation, which is what we're doing tonight, we're having conversation, right? Remember to subscribe, like, and share, right? Because this is important. And I think a lot of people don't even realize how important it is to be in a place called transparent and understanding that. So it's really good for us to make sure that we are projecting what it is we are desiring for that person to understand.
So I'm gonna bring it home a little bit. I love you too, Emma Brant, Mama. And then she said, "Yeah." So I'm gonna bring it home, close to home, right? So, and listen in, because this is happening to you at home. So my wife is online. She works from her phone, computer, and all that. So sometimes I'm like, "What are you doing?" Working.
That's what I'm doing.
Honest answer, right? Well, but I want more, because working on what? Is that right? Working on what? On my, then she mentions things and all. But sometimes you can stop at what are you doing? I'm working, and keep moving. But sometimes you just kind of want a little bit more conversation, you know. because I'm like, okay, well, we have to do certain things, this and that, whatever. Well, I'll get to that when I'm finished doing, what I'm doing now. No. So it's just conversation that continues to happen. It's
Yeah.
the same for me. When I'm doing things and I'm working, I'm writing programs and all. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm writing some programs down." "Oh, what kind of programs are you writing?" We have to learn to ask the right questions if you want an answer that's going to make you feel fulfilled or comfortable about what your mate is doing.
That is so true. But see, listen, as we're building trust within the relationship, honesty requires and refers to the state of being truthful,
Mhm.
being sincere, and being straightforward,
Yeah.
like just putting it out there, right? It involves telling the truth, even if it's difficult or challenging.
Even if it hurts.
Listen, sometimes it does. But I want to be honest with you
They said the
now.
truth hurts.
That's what they say. That's what they told me,
Some of the
right?
truth hurts.
Sometimes it does when
That's
you're
it.
speaking honestly. But you rather that honesty be fostered than dishonest and lies,
Yeah.
or that half truth.
Right.
No. I love what one of the someone just had a comment. I love to read that comment. Jamie Matheson. Hi, Jamie. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. And what she said is we need to be transparent with our partner, right? Because it's important conversation to have together on how transparent you want them to be, or how transparent you want to be with others.
Yeah.
We don't need to over
Right.
share
That's
with
right.
others beyond what our partner is comfortable with. That
That's so
is
true. Great
100%
job.
right. That is spoken exactly in the context of what we are talking about here tonight. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And if
Listen.
you are married, put it in the chat. I'd like to know how long you've been married.
Oh, that's good. Yes. So with that, transparency also brings about authenticity.
Mhm.
It refers to being genuine, being real, being true, not only to the person but to yourself.
Mhm.
So sometimes take that a little bit deeper, because we need to also be honest with ourselves
Yeah.
in situations. Being authentic is often associated with a person's identity, their
Mhm.
personality, how they are, right? Some of their traits and things that they do without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Yeah, that's true. Um, and Angie said you must have communication and understanding. So true. And that's effective communication,
Yeah.
because sometimes that communication can be on one side. And a lot of times, I mean, for me, it took me longer to learn how to communicate, because we're not taught to listen. We're only taught to talk. So a
Mm,
lot of times we do want to talk over each other, and we do have to make sure that we are listening to a matter before we actually speak about it, right? Or give an answer. So that, yeah, that's really good. It is about communication. It definitely is. And then she said you must have clear communication and understanding. There you
absolutely.
go. That's
So
right.
listen, you guys are on point tonight.
Absolutely right.
You are definitely on point,
Hmm.
and we appreciate it, because this again is the topics and conversations
Hmm.
that we need to bring to the table,
Yeah.
because these are the matters that matter most to us.
Breaking marriages up.
How do you get your mate to be more honest?
I think by you being honest and transparent, because you can only do things that makes you feel good. So I think it starts with you.
Mm,
Because I can't make you do anything. I can't make you go to church. I can't make you read. I can't make you exercise. I can't make you do any of those
that's
things.
true.
Eat right. Um, so I can only do what I think is best for me to do and lead by example.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, I try to do that because it's what I want in return. So if I'm being transparent and I'm being honest, and like I said, 36 years, we're going on 36 years. So we wasn't always like we are now. It
Yeah.
took time. We had some boxing glove, knocked each other out a few times. But it does take time.
It takes
You go through
time.
some things, you know.
It takes
Yeah.
time, growth, and maturity.
Maturity is big. Maturity is
Time,
big.
growth, and maturity.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen all overnight.
Mm-mm.
It happens
Absolutely.
as you consider
Yeah.
others as well as yourself.
That's right.
Because a lot of times sometimes we're so focused on the other person
Yeah.
that we lose ourselves in the relationship.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Like you find yourself every Friday night you're watching TV and eating popcorn when you really want to go for a walk, or you want to go on a trip and you find yourself watching the game
Yeah.
every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
These are simple things, but it's so true,
Yeah.
and it brings relevancy to the fact that
Mm-hmm.
we
That's
need to
true.
make sure that we're communicating our hopes, wants, desires,
Yeah.
and dreams.
Yeah.
Never stop doing that
That's right.
with your mate. Never stop ceasing that communication. Listen, when they stop talking, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
So you may think, we talk all the time. That's good. But just understand that when they stop talking,
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely contemplating or thinking about something else or someone else. It just real is what it is. We have to definitely be honest about everything, and we have to be courageous to talk about things
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
that most couples don't want to talk about.
Yes.
You know, they
Yes.
really do.
But you got to have that courage.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah.
If we don't have the strength
Mhm.
to make sure that we're talking about those things that matter most to us,
Yeah.
we're going to lose out on probably some of the best
Mhm.
that person has to offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just because we
That's
hold
true.
it in and we
Mhm.
never talk about it,
Right.
we never discuss it.
Mhm.
And then when the things come to a head, they say,
Mhm.
well, you never told me that.
Mhm. Or you never
Or
asked
you
me.
never, there you go. That
You
was good.
never
You never
asked me.
asked me. Wow.
So that means they was
You know,
not being transparent
wow.
about that until you asked them, and then they're probably going to give you one word: yes,
Or
no.
no,
you know,
I'm not sure.
so they're still being honest, but
Are they
you
being
know, are
transparent?
they being transparent? And how much
Wow. I
honesty
like
are
that.
they being? Right?
I like that. When with the yes, no
Yeah,
ended answers,
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff
I
going
could
on in between.
I couldn't do that at my parents'
Wow.
house. I couldn't do that. There
Wow.
was no one answer. There was no one word answer.
Oh, wow.
No. And we had to speak in Spanish, so forget it. That's more words.
Oh my goodness. That's good though, because
Yeah.
hence it brings us to a place where we communicate a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
And even if we're not satisfied with the answer,
Mhm.
we keep communicating.
Right.
We don't stop. That
Mhm.
that's very important to make
Yeah.
sure that we're putting it out there.
Mhm.
So hey guys, we're halfway through this conversation tonight, and we hope that you're gathering something from it. We hope that you're taking notes, and that this is making you think, am I honest
Mhm.
or am I transparent? And maybe tomorrow, when you're having dinner at the dinner table, you can talk to
Mhm.
your wife or your husband or your spouse. If you're
Mhm.
not watching this
Yeah.
together, and you can say, hey, I was watching the Serranos last night,
Mhm.
and they talked about honesty versus
Yeah.
transparency.
Yeah.
What do you think I am?
Mhm.
Do you think I'm honest or do you think I'm
Yeah.
transparent? I'm going to tell you, I was very shocked to hear my husband say that I was just honest. And it has made me take an introspective look at myself. Why aren't you more transparent? Because I thought I was very transparent. But I realized that I realized that part of my just being honest really has to do with some of my upbringing. Um, and maybe some things that I may have gone through in my life
Right.
that caused me to be honest and not as forthcoming
Mhm.
with everything that I'm thinking or desiring,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So think about that for a moment. Think about that.
Mhm.
I think that this is great conversation. Make
Mhm.
sure that you subscribe, like, and share this channel, this YouTube channel on your social medias,
Mhm.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts, because we want to make sure that we're reaching the masses. And we want to make sure that
Mhm.
we're being able to talk about conversations that really matter to you guys at home.
Yeah.
Because that's why we're here. We're here to pay it forward so that you don't have to pay us.
That's right. Hey, listening is free. Applying it is a whole new thing.
Absolutely. That takes energy. That takes
That's
honesty.
your time and
That
effort right
takes,
there.
yeah.
And that's investing. That's the investing part right there. Listening, bringing it home, and then applying it is the investing part.
Wow. That's good.
And that don't cost you nothing but some time to invest.
But you have to put that time in.
Yeah.
Nothing in, nothing
Nothing
out.
out. Mhm.
And
People
so
think
we
that used to
have
say
to
that.
understand that. We really do. We have to understand that. It's so important.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I think your dad used to say that a lot. So
Oh yeah.
nothing in, nothing out.
My dad was concerned about that bank account, okay?
Oh yeah, that's right too. Hey, that's that. Listen, you keep putting money in there, you can get things out of it, right? But if you ain't putting nothing in there, you're not gonna get anything out of it.
That's
That's the
true.
same thing in your relationship. If you're not putting any good thing in your relationship, then don't expect to get any good thing out of your relationship. Because it's what you put in, and most of the time, if it's good, it doubles.
Wow.
So you will get a good return on that effort that you're putting out, which is really, really good. So for me, so you said you wasn't transparent, or you didn't
I think well, I found out that I'm honest.
honest
I'm
over
honest
transparent.
over transparency first.
Hmm.
And part of that again, I believe can become my defense mechanism,
Yeah.
protecting myself
Hmm.
sometimes. Um but I definitely think about it more now that we started this study and have been talking about it more, to say, why am I not more transparent?
Hmm.
I mean, I have a
Yeah.
husband. I know what I'm working with. I know who I'm
Right.
dealing with, and I know that he can handle my transparency. But I have a husband who also loves the question to the question to the question. And I don't
Clarity,
know,
right? Clarity.
maybe that's because I'm just being honest and not as transparent. So we have to truly, truly make sure that we're making that understood. So I don't know what happened to the screen and why it went blur, but here we go. All right. These are things in technology.
Okay, back again. So how did that make you feel when you found out he was honest, because you thought you were more transparent? So how
Right.
did that make you feel? Like, how did you?
You know, in retrospect, I believe it helped me to realize that I was still guarding myself.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know if it's relative, if it actually means that that I just don't want to talk about it. But I believe for me, I see that personally. And as we've been talking about transparency and learning more about honesty, I'm like, yeah, do I do that with just my husband, or am I that way with everybody?
Right.
That's another thing I'm kind of monitoring.
Hmm.
But transparency is key
Yeah.
to the relationship being more enriched.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is. So again, as you grow together, I hope that will
Hmm.
foster more transparency
Yeah.
within your open discussions, within your communication, your interaction with one another. Is that you will learn that transparency can
Hmm.
really take you to a whole nother
Whole
level
new level.
of intimacy
Yeah.
within your relationship and your partner.
Yeah. And for me, when I found out that I was more transparent, I've always wanted to, I've always questioned God and be like, why did you make me like this? Why do I have to give information voluntarily? Why can't I just wait till they ask me? So sometimes we don't like how we are, right? We want to change how we are, because why? Because we get hurt,
Yeah.
because we're vulnerable now, because now we gave too much information, and you gave information you shouldn't have gave. So you do have to be careful, because it does open you up.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, when I found that, I was like, wow, I always try to hold back now, and I'm just careful who I talk to and what information I do give them. You know.
Yeah. And this is the thing. And think about this for a moment. Just let this sit in. Without transparency, the persons with whom you're communicating with, when you're talking to your husband or your wife, when you're dealing with your mate, it leaves more for them to have to consider.
Yeah.
And that might not be a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it leaves more to question.
Yeah.
Hence
Absolutely right.
why Richard has to ask more questions.
Right.
Because at that point it's not full disclosure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so transparency is about the ability to see something, and honesty is about the ability to see something, but whether or not that something is being presented
Mm-hmm.
in the right way. So transparency is all about authenticity and really allowing yourself, well, generally speaking, to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
actually.
Volunteering information
Yes.
without being asked. So Jamie said something here too. Let me blow it up. Here you go.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Jamie says we also need to look at it from a male perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman and a man needs to understand it from a female perspective. So you have to put time in to be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. If you don't put in the time,
Excuse me.
then you're not going to
Yeah.
take it to the next level.
Right. Yeah.
In order to reach levels, in order to go higher in your relationship
Mm-hmm.
and really reach that place of authenticity and vulnerability, you have to be willing
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
communicate fully
Yeah.
out.
That's right.
So I like what she said when
Mm-hmm.
she said that. You
Mm-hmm.
have to put the time in.
Yeah.
Got to put the time in
Mm-hmm.
to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of couples simply aren't spending time together.
No.
No, they're sharing space,
They're sharing space. They
but
don't
they're
even.
not spending time.
And I'm not saying I liked it better when we had one car, but I mean, we do pretty good hanging out together, right? But you see a lot of couples that have two cars don't really spend a lot of time together, especially leaders. They
Absolutely.
always
That's
meet
good.
up at the site, meet up at the events, right? Meet up at church, meet up at meetings and board meetings, and then they meet back at home when it's time to go to sleep
Yeah.
because they probably
They're
already
burnt
ate
out.
dinner out because no one's cooking at home. Okay, so that's true. In order to really know your mate, you have to put time in.
Yeah, and think about it this way. The more transparency you have within your relationship, the more connected you are.
Hmm. Yeah,
The more you can relate
yeah,
to one another.
yeah. That's so true.
You know, so why leave so many questions?
Hmm. Yeah.
Can we just, why don't you start working on just, right now, just eliminating some of those questions
Hmm.
by being more forthright
Hmm.
and being more transparent within your relationship.
That's right.
It's really, really important. So I like,
Okay.
Angie says, you must also know who you're dealing with and expect what that person may not give you the answer you want. And be prepared for the answer that they give. Excellent point.
That's good.
So they
That's
may
really
not
good,
give you
Angie.
what you're looking for,
All right.
but be prepared for what they give. And what does that take me to? It really
Mm.
takes me to expectations.
Mhm. That's right.
It takes me to expectations
Yeah.
because sometimes we're expecting something of someone that they really don't possess
Can give
to
you.
give us at that moment.
Yeah.
So maybe we want transparency, but honesty is all they have to give.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to accept that honest answer
Yeah.
and wait as you build the connection to
Mhm.
receive the transparent one?
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, how many people expected more when they first got married? I mean, maybe you got more, but it was more of the bad things than more of the good things. So expectation can be a dangerous place,
Yeah.
especially if you're looking at the who's who and all that and all the things that they have and everything like that. But trust me, even in
Wow.
material things, they still don't have what you probably have at home. And it's that love for one another, communication and respect and transparency, because the more it is out there in this world, the more troubling they'll be of making decisions and things like that. You
Wow.
do have to be mature about spending time. I like being home most of the time because
Maybe
I
I
get
like
a
being
lot of
out.
things done at home, uh, based on programs or writing or getting prepared for things.
True. True.
Because once you leave the house, you can be gone for 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes. You can
Yeah.
run errands, you can stop by and see somebody. Things happen along the way. By the time you come home, is a few hours later. Now the things you were supposed to do or homework and things like that, it's a little harder for you to do. So make sure you plan your time and your days, um, accordingly, so you can get the best out of your day.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good. And I think in the line of what Jamie was saying earlier, there's no way to know for sure if what you're about to communicate is 100% going to be received or perceived in a negative or positive way. But one can test the waters before sharing
Yeah.
by asking simple questions like, there's something that I want to talk to you about. And I'd like to share that with you. I'm not sure how it's going to land, right? But do you have time and space to hear it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not even that they don't want to hear it, it's just that they're too tired, or it may be that they already have something else planned for that moment. And you could just let them know, you know what, babe, I really would love to hear what it is you want to talk about.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have this meeting going on. Can we talk about it at that time? And then they can say, sure.
Hmm.
Or maybe the recipient person can say, something that I really want to discuss with you, and it's very important. If you have a moment, I'd
Hmm.
like to discuss it now.
Yeah.
Transparency.
Yeah.
Not just saying, I really want to talk to you about something
Hmm.
when you have a moment, but knowing that you really wanted to talk about it tonight and their night was already planned out
Yeah.
and you don't get to
Squeeze
it.
them in.
So then you're hurt and you're frustrated
Hmm. Sure.
because you never got a chance to talk about something that they didn't realize
Right.
was an urgent and important matter.
Hmm.
They thought, okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Maybe they were thinking we'll get to it over the weekend.
Yeah.
If you want it right now, say that. If you need it right now, say that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. You know, uh, Sometimes I think about, because we've counseled so many couples, right? And we've heard it all. You
Well,
know,
maybe not quite all, but a
we've
lot. We've
heard.
heard a lot.
I mean, my God, some of the things we hear. But there's so many negative people
Oh, that's true.
that what came to my mind is like when a couple will get together and be like, I really got to talk to you about something when you get some time. And the other person might say, well, what is it now? Or what did I do? Or what happened? I didn't
Right.
do it.
Jump into
They
conclusions
get so
before they even hear
defensive
the whole matter.
about just the statement of, can I talk to you later? Or,
Wow.
let's talk.
They get anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you have to know your mate, and you have to know how to speak to your mate. It's
that's true.
unfortunate that it does happen, but before you got married, the signs were there. Now that you are married, you have to find other ways of communicating. You don't stop communicating, you just have to find other ways of communicating.
Yeah,
Once you know your mate, you have to know what's the best way to communicate and where. It
that's
could it
true.
could be at
The
a dinner
timing.
table somewhere. It might be better for the person. Listen, you might have to treat the person to get something needed. Then they're gonna listen to you. I'm just saying.
Figure out what works. Figure out what works.
That's
So this is great
right. Yeah.
conversation, Dr. Serrano. I'm really glad that you decided to do this topic today because we need to make sure that we are watching for the
Mhm.
signs and
Yeah.
understanding how we're receiving information as well as how we're giving
That's
it.
right.
Emma Jean Brandt Mamamas says transparency means to expect the unexpected and not be surprised at what you may hear, but process it, then share or comment.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
That's
good.
good.
That's really good. Excellent. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Process it, then comment
Hmm.
and share.
Yeah.
Sometimes don't always be so quick to have an answer. Wait, hear the whole matter, calm yourself down so that you can then process it
Yeah.
and communicate it back out. That's good. Thanks, mamas.
Yeah. And if you give the wrong answer, like really wrong, go back and apologize.
That's true.
I didn't think about that fully. I gave you some bad
Bad
information.
information. Wow.
Let's go back so I can give you the right information, good information, right? And that's good communication, you know.
That's really good. Yeah. Being willing to accept onus and responsibility. It goes back to the accountability.
Accountability.
And honesty
Yeah.
fosters that. Transparency requires accountability because you're about to really open it up. You're about to allow yourself to be vulnerable.
I think about work, right? And I think about different levels of communication because now you have your coworker that you're with most of the time, right? So you might be transparent to them, right? And then you have supervisors, right? That you just might be honest because you're not going to be
Good.
transparent to them. Now
Yes.
you have a boss. Now you don't know what to be to the boss because you don't know what they're going to ask you, right?
Yes.
So those are different levels of communication, which is
Communication.
honest and
Yes.
transparent. Now some bosses, that they're transparent. So now you want to feel like, man, they were transparent to me. You want to be a little transparent back, right? Or some of your supervisors, right? So you just have to be careful. But I just thought that was a good illustration of different levels of honesty and transparency. It's definitely not for everybody. But whatever you're getting back, you have to, take heed to it. Just like
Absolutely.
Mom said,
Business
you know,
Oh yeah.
which
The
which is
transparency
really, really
means
good.
to expect the unexpected
Mhm.
and not be surprised at what you may hear, but to process it and then share or comment.
Right.
I mean,
That's good.
that's some good talk right
Yeah.
there. That's real talk right there.
Absolutely.
And honestly, if we can just take those types of things into consideration in our communicating back and forth, we'll gain more understanding
Yeah.
about the person that we're with and
Absolutely.
how they perceive information.
Mhm.
Transparency in business practices, providing excellent customer service, protecting customers' data,
Mhm.
and using social media to engage with your customers. Transparency. You know, it's so important to make sure that you are exercising levels of transparency.
It
Um,
is.
it really is, and we have to make sure that we're maintaining
Mhm.
that level of honesty in order for our relationship to grow to that maturity and that intimate place. I mean, I can't stress it enough how important that is.
I mean, how do you become one when you can't even be transparent, right? And how do you share the bed together
Wow.
when you don't even know how much that joker make at the job? I'm just saying.
That's
It's
true.
just that's all transparency.
Yeah.
That's not honesty.
Full disclosure.
That's transparency.
Yes,
You're sharing beds, you're sharing the house, you're sharing everything. Some people don't even share bank accounts.
that's true.
Is that honesty or transparency?
Neither. That's deception.
Dr. Serrano said neither one.
That's deception.
That's deception.
I mean, you should, you know what I mean? You don't,
I don't know something.
I mean, maybe you're a business entrepreneurs and you also work a job and you have several bank accounts and all
business
that.
account.
We understand that. But generally speaking, you know what I mean? You should know
The house rules.
what your mate is bringing in.
Right.
Those things, I mean, what's wrong with that? Anybody find anything wrong with that? This is not a one-way conversation or communication. You guys can talk to us, give us some feedback, share what you like, what you're taking, what you're not taking, what matters to you, what doesn't matter. We want to hear it all. So make sure you're putting something in the comment section so that we can get an understanding for where you, the audience, are and what it is you want to better understand in topics and conversation such as this. Very important.
Yeah.
So it's not all about us,
right.
but it's all about us. We, the people.
Amen.
All right.
Maria, we love you
Hi.
too. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us, beautiful lady.
Yes.
We really appreciate you.
Angie says so.
And listen, Angie says, think before you speak and be honest with everything and anything you say and do. That's true. Just, even if you're not at that place where you're a very transparent person, just don't be a deceptive one either.
Right.
Don't be a liar. Communicate. And maybe they didn't ask the right question, but you knew what they meant. So why not tell them? What are you doing?
I know what you're doing.
On the computer. I'm on the computer. I'm answering a message that I told someone I would get back to them later. I'll be right there. Guess what? That fosters a little bit more patience on the end of the other person. Maybe you're one, a person that is a night owl. And so you find your mate goes up. I'm going to check in a little earlier tonight. But you know that they want that body next to them. Preaching to the choir.
Sleep better at night.
And you're downstairs just typing away. And they're like, honey, you already know what the next part is. So why not, in that case, be willing to close it out so that you can gain more intimacy by that person recognizing that they're respected, that you honor them, you're acknowledging them, not just, I'm busy. I have fell. I'm sorry, honey.
I think it's one of those answers that they don't want to stop doing what they're doing.
Yes.
So it's a short answer of I'm busy.
I know you're busy.
Because you're not up here. So you're busy doing something, right?
Yeah. Wow. I can appreciate this conversation. I hope you guys are gaining something from this. I hope this was a good topic. If not anything, I hope it makes you think a little bit more about where you weather in between honesty and transparency. And should you have a little more honesty or a little more transparency? I mean, it's really important to know your mate, to know your spouse, to understand where you are in your relationship, what they are going to receive and what they're not. I think that would help those argumentations a little bit less. You will see yourselves having them less.
Definitely.
This has been good conversation. I don't know about you, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I love this topic. If you guys want to hear more topics like this, or you want to hear a little bit more about this, please make sure you comment in the comment section, message us so that we can answer your questions. Maybe you have a question and you were a little shy, didn't want to come on camera tonight. It's okay. Text us, send us an email, or message us in the DMs or in Messenger on Facebook and let us know what that is, and we'll respond directly back to you.
So Jamie said something.
Jamie says, I think this is such a great topic. Sharing this with my son and his girlfriend. I love the idea of honesty is the ability to share a short-term goal. Transparency is sharing your long-term goals and being accepting of it. Wow.
Beautiful.
What a nice way to sum that up, Jamie. Thank you. We got to have you on all the time. We really love this. I'm thankful. Thank you for bringing this. This was really Dr. Richard Serrano's idea to talk about honesty versus transparency. And we did a little dive in and study on it. It is very important topic to have. And I think if you will continue to learn your mate, learn your spouse, and even learn your date, because if they're not the potential mate, you may want to, move on. I mean, my thing is, some people say, well, I'm just enjoying the courting period. That's a good thing. Nothing wrong with the courting period. But are you going somewhere? Do you want to go somewhere? That's even more important. Know what it is you're desiring so that you can begin to know how that translates into communication with the person that you're with.
Yeah, it becomes bad when you're just enjoying it, but they want a little more. And you're saying, no, I don't want to rush. I'm just enjoying it, but you're not giving me no more information.
Yeah.
When are we,
gonna go to the next level?
Really feeling each other here? Are we really communicating? Are we you know, I feel like we're there, you know. The other person is like, we're not there yet, but they're not saying anything. So no communication other than we're not there.
Yeah, it leaves a
You know,
lot to the
it
imagination of the
leaves a
other
lot to the
person,
imagination.
a lot to the interpretation of the other person,
Yeah,
and to their perception
yeah,
of the situation. Just understand this: um, their perception of the matter is their truth. How
yeah,
they perceive it is their truth.
yeah,
And so it may not be exactly what you're saying, but again, begin to consider other ways to communicate that part of what you're trying to get them to understand.
yeah,
And, come another way on another day.
yeah.
You just never know.
That's right.
But don't stop communicating.
Yeah,
Don't shut down.
yeah.
Because they didn't understand you today, don't mean they're not going to think about it.
Right, right. I like what Angie said here. She said, no, if you trust one another, you'll be able to communicate
Hmm.
and be comfortable to be able to enjoy, expand, grow together, and love one another. So true.
So true.
So true. That's why that transparency gives you that more of a trust.
Hmm.
So you can communicate more. Well, you are going to communicate more because transparency dives in a little bit deeper so that communication is more effective. But yeah, definitely enjoying, expanding, and growing. Our goal is to become one, right? Is to know what each other's thoughts is, um, um, aspirations are, goals. Those are the things that we are sharing with one another. You should know that about your mate. What they want to do
Absolutely.
in life. You should know that
Absolutely.
about your mate.
Absolutely.
So that was good. I enjoy that question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember reading a question, and it basically talked about, why are people who are transparent
mm,
and honest in their life, their speech, or their ideas and
mhm.
their relationships so rare? Why are they
Wow,
so rare? Why is it so hard to be transparent?
wow,
Doesn't the truth set you free?
that's right. That's what the word said.
Yeah, the truth
The
can
truth will
also
set you
get you
free.
locked up. Okay.
The truth
the,
hurts
the truth
still.
the truth there you go. It seems a much easier way to live.
Yeah,
Transparency appears to be a much easier way to live, but again, just know where you are in that relationship and how transparent you can be in that moment,
yeah,
because it just may not be what the other person needs
yeah.
at that time.
Right. I feel good being transparent, especially with my wife at home. That means I can leave my phone. She can take it. Listen, if she leaves hers, she can take mine for I don't care for how long. She can have it. So it's a good feeling when you're honest, transparent, and when you're just living a clean, good life.
Yeah, that's good.
That's how I feel, in the matter. I don't. I do give people the benefit of the doubt most of the time. So yeah, good
Well,
stuff.
this was a really good
Mhm.
topic. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love the interaction. Thank you, Mamas and Angie and
Thank
Jamie,
you
for joining us
all.
tonight. We really appreciate
Yes,
it.
yes.
Mama said, a great topic, guys. I loved it. She said, I love you both. We love you too, Mom. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. Um, Mom Emma Jean Brand, honey, she got a couple of letters, a few letters behind her name. So I love her input because Mom really thinks about things and processes it. So that's really good. Thank you, Mom, for joining
Yeah.
us tonight. Angie
Oh,
says, I
thank
love
God
you
bless
both.
you.
I thank God for you. And every Thursday, the topics are great. Thank you, Angie. We want to keep
Awesome.
them coming until God says so, because we're
Yes.
here to make sure that we're making impact and that we're helping someone along the way.
Mhm.
Because marriage and the journey in marriage is a long time,
That's right.
but forever can be.
Mm.
If you really
Mm.
want it, you can have it. It's a long time, but I'm ready to
Mhm.
continue this journey called love and marriage.
Amen. Amen. Well, awesome. This was really good. Good information, good topics. Please share. You never know who needs it, who's going through it. And hey, listen, I think it'll be even good for you to bring it up, as a topic with someone or some of your
It's
friends
good.
and see what they think about it. Be really, really good information and good feedback. But if you do have some topics, please let us know. Send that information to us. It'd be really nice to put on the show.
We would love to do
Yeah.
that. Our hour has been spent at this point,
Already go.
and we appreciate you again. Come again next time, not this hour. We're usually on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 Pacific. And we just want to say that we appreciate you, we love you, and remember, love somebody.
Yeah, so to give you some information before we go.
Covenant Rescue 911, let the rescue begin. It's a 24-hour hotline for couples and families in crisis. And you can call 855 RESC 911 or 855 737 2911. The Serranos, we are your relationship experts, and we support you to achieve balance and stability in life and in business through biblical principles to build you a more effective communication in life and in your relationships. So we appreciate you guys tonight. And just remember, Father, we thank you and we give you the glory and the honor. We ask that you would cover every marriage, every covenant marriage out there this evening, Lord, that you would bless them and that you will keep them, that you would encourage them to know that they can rise up from any situation and circumstance in their marriage. And divorce does not have to be an end all for them. They can move on to that next level in you. Let honesty and transparent live in the relationship and in the communication as they communicate to and with one another. We pray that they will go another level and a deeper intimacy within that relationship. Touch our young couples as they are learning each other and they're figuring things out and they're bringing some of those things from their past into these relationships. Let them learn how to table some things when it's necessary and revisit it. That's very important. Father, we ask that you would just be with the world today. Touch those that have lost their loved ones on that tragic accident and plane crash tonight. Father, someone is without their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, their friend, their co-worker. The world right now is in a very rough, turbulent place. Help us, Father, to come out of the turbulence, to hang on in there until we can get to a smooth sailing place safely as we land. We thank you. We praise you. We give you the honor. In Jesus' name. Amen. God
Amen.
bless you.